right, let's do
Ready?
it.
Well, podcast my guy. We're gonna make a show. It's gonna be
Let's make
really
a
it's gonna be
show.
really good. Fans are gonna love it. It's gonna be provocative. Let's see. Let's see. What do we think? Why are you, oh god damn. What were you looking at on the internet there, bud? Your face is so whitewashed.
Oh, I was on Google. I just don't have everything in my
Dark
life
mode, my
is
guy. Wait,
is
can we start with that? You're a psychopath who uses light mode? What the
no.
fuck?
I change gears.
What? Explain.
So I have a different mood that I'm in, and when I open up a new tab, I want that to be like a moment where like I'm starting a new idea, because I can definitely get carried away with thousands of new ideas. Also, hello to my seatbelt looking ass right now. Is my shirt on correctly? It's reflective. That's why. Sorry, I just
The
realized
logo
that I
the
have like
logo's correct, so yeah, I think so.
um. So every time that I switch from like my Adobe Illustrator or my Photoshop that's like in a dark mode, and then I go into my Google Chrome tab and it's like, I'm like having a subconscious like reminder, like, hey, you're doing a new thing right now, because otherwise, what will happen is I'll have 600 tabs open at the end of an hour, and I will not know what any of them are.
So you're a
So like
tab demon is what you're telling me.
I need a little bit of a punishment every time I open up a new tab in Chrome that like slightly reminds me, hey, you're doing something new here.
So what you're
Is this
telling me
really
is
what you
that
need
the
to be doing?
sins you commit on the internet must be your constant reminder of guilt to you.
True. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
fair
So
enough.
my Twitter, which I have just deleted, was in dark mode. Twitch is in dark mode. YouTube is in dark mode. My actual Gmail is in dark mode. Pretty much any website that I'm on,
Huh.
but the Google Chrome base tab is not for that specific purpose.
So what you're saying is you're mentally unstable and we should do a wellness check.
Yeah, probably. I think so.
Damn, bro.
Masochistic and sadistic. Yep.
Hey, shout out BDSM.
True.
That's the plug. That's the whole one. The butt plug.
BDSM.
And welcome to another episode of the 110 Podcast. Hello everybody. How's it going? Yeah, another
It is
episode.
episode 57.
No. It's 59, I think.
I'm just gonna keep guessing 57 from now on. That is forever what it is.
Your shtick is bad. And you should feel bad.
I am bad. I'm a bad boy.
Can you
What are you
not?
gonna do about it?
I'm gonna throw up in my mouth. That's what I'm gonna start doing.
Oh, make sure you share some.
Holy
Woohoo!
moly. All right.
I got a crown on Thursday or last Wednesday.
Oh wow.
I didn't talk about it because I was actually feeling okay. You ever gotten a crown before?
No?
It's the most excruciating thing in the world. They have to shave down your tooth. Usually they basically say, okay, it's too bad for us to give a cavity repair. We can't like shave down a section and put in filler stuff. We have to fuck the whole thing and then print a new tooth. And they make one out of porcelain. But they have to shave it down, and then they put this stuff that's called cord wrap inside of your gum around the base of your tooth. And it like expands the gum around the now
Cool.
shaved down nub of your tooth.
Cool.
And then they put the new cap in and take the cord out. So I've been in excruciating, it's not excruciating, but I've been like 4 out of 10 for the last 5 days because it's been really fucking painful.
Fun.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very fun. Very pog
Take
champ.
care of your teeth, kids. Swish your mouth out with water after you drink sugary shit, and brush your teeth and floss.
Yeah. I worry about the dental issues I'll have in 10 years, but you know what? Anyways, moving right along. On to less
We gotta
somber
just
things. No,
live
sorry that
life.
you can go through that, man. That sucks. That's tough.
It's good. It's my own. Listen, I'm irresponsible, and I'm paying the prices for it. So I will be a stickler, a Adolf H, if you will, about my teeth and my kids' teeth from now on.
Okay. That's a weird
be-
systemic elimination of gingivitis, but I accept it.
Yes, you know what? Sometimes things need to be genocided, okay? I will take that stance. Gingivitis,
That is not a
to the-
stance
to
I
the
want
camps.
to ever say in a sentence personally, but all right, fair enough. So let's see. We got quite a bit we could talk about. A hot thing for me this week has been the television programming I have been consuming.
okay.
It's been pretty big.
What have you
so,
been watching?
First off, I finished all of Beef in like 3 days.
So I haven't watched past episode 2, not because I didn't enjoy it, It was actually like a little bit too real at the time that I was watching it, and
Bro,
so I had to
keep
take a
watching
breather.
it. You got to keep watching it. You've got to keep
It's
watching it.
it's really really
You-
intense.
You have got to watch the show.
Wait, hang on. So I feel like we've talked before. You said you hadn't seen much A24 stuff before.
I mean,
right?
I've
Like,
seen
you
some
never
things, but like,
did
just
you
nothing
see
like.
Nope or Get Out or Us or
I haven't
any
seen
Ari
any of those
Aster,
three.
Midsummer or what's the other one about the mom? Oh my God, it's not The Conjuring. It's another horror film. I know for a
Hereditary?
fact that you said Hereditary.
I think
You
I've
haven't
seen.
seen
I
any of
think
that
I've
stuff.
seen Hereditary. I think that's the only one I've seen.
Okay, so that's all A24. I might be making this up actually. I don't know if the Jordan Peele stuff is A24. I feel like it was.
I don't know.
This is worth a Google. But
But I'll
either
tell
way,
you this: this is not a horror show. I mean, there are
no,
like
absolutely not.
no. Well, there's one very horrific element in like one of the last two episodes,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's just
2 seconds. I just have to figure out
you're good.
if
I'm
I'm
just dying over here. We're good. Just choking on my own
produced?
lung.
Who produced Get Out? That's the question.
Your mama.
Okay, it was not A24. I was wrong. Okay, so it's Midsummer and Hereditary, and then there's the movie about the shell, and there's other films by A24 that are really good, but you haven't seen it. You haven't seen most of them.
I mean, I don't know.
So,
maybe.
What
Just
do
look
you
at the friend
think?
list.
Listen, there's a purpose to this because I know we're gonna talk about it. What do you think about the like style and like the elements that make up this series Beef?
Oh, it's fucking good.
Yeah,
It's fucking
not just like the
fucking good.
storyline, like the
No, the visual
elements underneath it.
there's a visual element to I don't know if you've caught on to this yet, but there's a visual
Mhm.
element to Amy's house. It is very interesting.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, you've been in her house. I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw pee on the
what's
floor.
yeah, that's the last part you saw, right? And they're running out of her
Well,
house
and
at
then
the
he
end of
was
the episode.
he was running at it with a hammer, and then there was a spotlight that went off because she upgraded her security system, and then something about they weren't doing counseling in her house. Right?
What was
They
the
were at
last thing that happened at the end of the episode you watched?
I feel like he went to a club, and then he got his car spray painted,
Yep.
and then he got angry.
Yep.
But I feel like I watched the part of the next one. You know what? I started where she's talking to the girl about the deal, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta get to know each other before you do business or whatever." And then that was where I needed to take a breather. So I haven't finished that episode, but I'm halfway through that one.
You need to continue.
Finish it, okay?
Because
whatever.
the first 3 or 4 episodes are the slowest part, and then you just sink your teeth in, and it continuously gets better. And if you think there are some elements that feel too real now, oh boy, wait until your ego death experience happens at the end of the show. Because there's a moment, there's a moment that hit so fucking hard for me that I have been sitting pretty heavy on it. I won't discuss it until you have the option, but watch Beef on Netflix. Fucking great. Ali Wong's amazing. Steven Yeun's amazing. Or Steven Yeun, sorry, it's Yeun. How you pronounce it?
Cho, what's his name? The
Cho
guy who
Tamate.
plays
No,
guy who plays the
Japanese.
brother.
Oh, Paul.
The guy who plays the cousin. Sorry, he does the illicit.
Oh,
He got their motel raided before.
Yeah.
Did you see the controversy about him?
No, what?
Supposedly he was on a podcast like 10 years ago,
Okay.
and he described raping a woman.
Oh, not cool.
In like explicit detail. And then like the podcaster on the other side was like, "Oh, so you're pretty much a professional rapist?" And he was like, "Yeah, pretty much." And then like when questioned about it, he was like, "Oh no, that's just my artistic storytelling nature. Like I wasn't actually being literal." And like then the defense of him is like he's lied in like a New York Times interview and stuff. Because this guy isn't actually an actor professionally. He's like an artist. So we can't really know if he's telling the truth about raping someone in explicit detail or not.
See, this sounds like cancel culture, fake news bullshit to me.
That's
telling
what I'm
you
saying. That people were in an uproar about this guy's past. I didn't listen to the podcast. I just read transcriptions of the podcast.
That's fair enough. I did not hear about that. That's crazy. Doesn't take away from my experience of the art.
No, it's not supposed to. that guy seems legit. He seems like a real.
He played
like,
a real piece of shit
character.
throughout the show, so
And so maybe he's just tapping into
oh,
himself.
just wait until you see what happens.
Okay.
Just watch the show. It's very good. It's worth your time. Anyone listening who has not watched it already, get on it. Let's see. What else did I finish watching this week? I finished a few things. We finished that. Oh, I watched today, day of recording, Mandalorian season 3. Just finished.
Okay.
It was good. It was hype.
Okay.
It was the only reportable noteworthy thing is just like, I don't know, the fact that like the runtime was the shortest of the 3 finales of the 3 seasons. So it's like,
that sucks.
I mean, it was fine. I don't think it needed to be any longer than it was. It ends on a very quaint note, and I don't know if it leaves a lot of opportunity for expansion on the story. I mean, it does leave opportunity for expansion on the story, but it definitely isn't a point where it could stop very easily and not continue and be very cute. But also, then what's going to happen to our favorite baby Yoda? What's going to happen? What's going to happen to Grogu?
That was my question. Do you think that Star Wars has a Baby Yoda problem?
As in, like, he's fucking dank as fuck? Are you serious?
Mandalorian was the answer to all of Star Wars problems until it embodied them. According to Aji Romano. Hang on, what does he say here? There's an article that I'm referencing. I wanted to get your take on it. Give me 2 seconds. Well, so you think Baby Yoda's great and he's not overplayed at all, and he's got a great.
No, I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I do think the person who wrote this article hasn't watched the fucking Mandalorian. Or does not enjoy Star Wars and watches the show in spite to write an article like this.
This just seems like a spite-filled article. It's from Vox, so I shouldn't expect anything less.
Okay, let me put it this way. Does Star Wars have a Baby Yoda problem? Absolutely fucking not. They just announced... Hang on. No, this person doesn't consume Star Wars content, is basically what this tells me in short. The Bad Batch Season 3 just got announced. The most successful animated series run they've had in years. Since the Clone Wars, basically. Okay? So that's existent. Star Wars Vision Season 2, which is done by Anime Studios, in case everyone forgot that happened. Like Studio Trigger fucking did 3 episodes or some shit. Like that's coming out, I think, next month on May the 4th. We have the Ahsoka show that got announced for next year, which is going to be having Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka. Like, that's insane. Like, no, we don't have a problem with Grogu being an existent factor in the world. We can continue to tell stories. Also, they just announced a Daisy Ridley led Star Wars film.
Another film with her. Yeah.
Led 10 years after the last movie. So there's there's room for Grogu to be there, but where the fuck was he before that then? So, like, yeah, I don't know. How much do you want to write Grogu in? I don't think you're going to have to in every project. I've heard talks about Donald Glover doing a thing for Lando Calrissian project finally. I would love that personally because I've been shouting for that since the Han Solo movie came out. I just don't think this person, when they're like, oh, do they have a Baby Yoda? Bitch, do you watch anything other than the live action show? Do you watch any of the animated product? Because here's the thing. Here's the reality. Dave Filoni has been the GOAT of Star Wars writing since the Clone Wars started, right? There's a reason why he's in charge of the whole fucking helm right now. That's why Grogu. I mean, he and Favreau created the Grogu concept. I guess I think Grogu was necessary because personally, one of the things that I've always had an issue with is the fact that they call it Yoda's species. Like in canon, but then Yaddle existed in episode 1 and they never elaborate on that. But then Grogu like alleviates this thing where we have another character existing. We need I think this is actually the best thing the Mandalorian offers. And this is the biggest argument I have against Andor from what I've heard. I haven't seen Andor still, which is another pretty good show from what I've heard. And everyone seemed to fucking love Rogue One when it came out.
True.
Everyone sucks Rogue One.
Yeah,
everyone loves Rogue One. Everyone sucks that movie's fucking dick. And that's fine. It was a fine movie for me. I actually don't think
fine.
That's the thing. I actually don't think super highly of it. I think it's a good story, and I think it's like, oh, that's the good people they lost that they mentioned at the end of episode 4, where they're making the strike plan against the Death Star, and how there's the whole like that Luke has to shoot. It's no bigger than a womp rat, right? They mentioned they lost a lot of. They mentioned they lost a lot of good people to get these plans, and then you're just like, oh, that's everyone we lost in fucking Rogue One, and then you get your little cut. Yeah, look, I get it, the nostalgia trip, and don't get me wrong, I love the original trilogy.
Hi, Mimi. The member berries, dude. They're coming
No,
back.
I
out.
love the original trilogy. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is that the level of suck dicky we do for that movie is great. The issue I have is that Andor is what was spawned out of that, and I haven't watched it. But what I have heard is there's like no fucking aliens in that show comparatively. It's mostly humans and droids.
Yeah, it's all
And
interactions
it's like,
with people.
but
Yeah.
I've heard it's mostly people, and I'm like, yeah, that breaks my immersion. You know what doesn't break my immersion? Fucking Din Djarin and no spoilers, but Grogu. Din Grogu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's-
just
I
gonna
found
say
the- I
it.
found the
Just gonna say
section.
it. A very tender moment at the end. I just no. You have this
let-
beautiful relationship between alien and it's father and son. Damn it. Okay, and it's cute and it's perfect. Shut up. Leave Grogu alone.
I wanna. So they've
Because
only
also,
mentioned,
hang on here. Here's just one last thought on this. I have to say this. The implication being that the Empire, by the way, they touch on this. There's a character. Have you seen the last 3 movies, 7 through 9? You've seen these?
I saw 7, and then
Cool.
I saw the one with the baby with the
you remember the
broomstick.
ginger? Remember the ginger?
With the broomstick at the end of the second one,
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
suddenly can move.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stick
It's a
and
force.
like,
It's a force sensitive kid. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
yeah.
actually
It's hope for
just
the
people
galaxy.
that can become
Yes,
Jedi's.
yes,
It's
yes.
not just in the special born
Well,
people. It can be
well,
everywhere. Yeah.
Well, no, he is a special born people by that logic. That's just all it is.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
Force
It's not
sensitives are
like
force
only the main
sensitives.
characters.
Are you a
It can
Star Wars
be-
person?
Um,
Not like me. Got it. Okay.
I've no. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
yes, I like.
I'm sorry.
I like
I'm
Star Wars.
bullying you right now.
It's
Okay,
okay, bro.
let's put it this way.
Listen,
Every speed of sentient life that exists within the galaxy, okay, the known
Mm-hmm.
galaxy, has the possibility to have the Force because the Force is the living energy of the galaxy that goes through all living beings.
okay.
Everything is Force sensitive to some level,
Okay.
but it's not
Yeah.
like Force manipulative sensitive. Force sensitive meaning like people who can actually use the Force, like you're saying. Yes, a human child on any given planet or galaxy could be someone who would be Force sensitive. It's just an attunement.
Mhm.
That's all
Okay.
it really is.
That was with the chlamydian. I'm not being disrespectful.
No.
No.
This is something you can be disrespectful on. It's midichlorians. And you should be disrespectful because a unit of measurement to see what kind of thing that someone has a skill like latency, it's fucking power levels, dude. This is
So
Dragon
you're
Ball
just
Z.
You're just a George Lucas hater. You just hate the
No, I
second
hate
trilogy.
No. I
The
actually
prequels.
No, prequels are fine other than some things. God, this is gonna turn into the why I love and hate Star Wars podcast.
Listen, I
This
just
is a
wanted
good
to
one.
read the paragraph. I wanted to read the paragraph.
Read your paragraph, and then I'll make my actual point that I was gonna make about that I never did. It's totally fine.
The complaint that Star Wars is trying to do too much at once has become especially prominent through The Mandalorian's 3rd season, which sees titular Mandalorian Din Djarin abruptly reunited with his adopted son Grogu.
Did you watch the Book of Boba Fett? What the fuck?
Despite the fact that the narrative journey of the 2nd season was for Grogu to leave Din's care and train with other potential Jedi like himself.
Oh my god.
Externally, the reason for this reunification obvious. Baby Yoda is too much of a marketing coup to go without. Internally, the reason for this reunification gets explained, sort of, not in The Mandalorian, but over 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, another breakout series meant to cap blah 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 blah. But despite the popularity of the character Boba Fett himself, the Book of Boba Fett drew widespread criticism for being less a coherent narrative than a collection of cool Star Wars action figures with no
Yes.
ideas. Turns out Boba Fett himself is a
Wait a
terrible character
minute.
to
No,
build a whole story around.
no.
While he may be popular, there's just not that much to him, which is why the
Holy
writers
shit,
ultimately
okay.
turned the show's back half into the Mandalorian installment.
That is
Okay.
not what happened. That is blatantly not what happened in the show. Okay, so what happened? Did you watch the Clone Wars?
No. Yes, the second prequel. Yes, I did.
Okay.
No, you're talking about the animated series on Cartoon
Yes.
Network that I wasn't allowed to watch Cartoon Network at the time, so I
Oh my
never
God.
saw it.
Okay, well, it's on Disney Plus now. You have no excuses. It's the best story to ever be told in Star Wars, basically. Like, it's actually so genuinely good. There's so much shit that gets set up in there, like in this canon. So if you're a true fan and you consume the actual canon content, including the Clone Wars, which has been acknowledged as canon for years, you get characters like Bo-Katan Kryze, the Death Watch, the Darksaber, things that are all set up. Like, this is fulfillment of these stories that have been set up for 15 years on an animated series. And they had characters that were introduced in season 2 there, like Cad Bane, who was this bounty hunter, wears a cool cowboy hat, who when Boba Fett is a kid after his dad dies at the end of Attack of the Clones, Jango Fett, right? He goes and joins a bounty hunting guild, and he has to interact with him. And this guy is like a guild boss like a gang boss basically, and he's a piece of shit and treats Boba Fett like like trash. He treats him awfully as he's growing up and as a teenager. So at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, when we start, yes, there is an abrupt switch in the story after we kind of resolve an arc of Boba Fett becoming a peacekeeper on Tatooine and being like the daimyo is what it was called, the warlord who was like running the town and keeping the streets safe.
Yeah.
We cut abruptly to, yes, Grogu and like Din Djarin and other shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? But then they bring it back to where Boba Fett and Din Djarin interact with each other. And they're cool with each other, right? And they help each other and stuff. And there's a story there. But Cad Bane comes back out of fucking nowhere. And you're like, holy fucking shit. There he is. Like, this is a story thread on Left Undone. And then fucking Boba Fett has a 1v1 duel with him in the streets of Tatooine to end the season. Christ. It's fucking amazing. And then there was a Rancor thing that happens, and it's pretty cool too, but that's just like another little fulfillment. But I will agree. Now, here's what this Vox little article sounds like. It sounds like a hit piece on the opinion that most people do agree with. Like, yes, the Book of Boba Fett was incredibly cluttered, and it was basically just a setup for the season 3 of The Mandalorian, but it is explained very blatantly, because what happens is he's training with Luke. He meets Ahsoka, and then Din's like, hey, I have something for him. And he gives him a little tiny chainmail vest made of Beskar. And he's just like, I give this to you. And basically, he had to make a choice. Does he want to stay and join the way of the Jedi with Luke, or does he want to continue being a Mandalorian and be with his homie Din? And he chose to be with Din Djarin. Based as fuck. So this raises the real ethical question we've been trying to get to all this time. And then I will give my actual point that I was trying to give about the implication of why the Baby Yoda thing is not a problem. Is it more based to be a Jedi or be a Mandalorian?
We need the answers in the comments, because that is too deep of a question for me to have an opinion on. Why
the answer is Mandalorian. Well, first off, the real answer is to be a Sith over a Jedi. But if you're going to be a Force user, because, the Jedi code is fucking pussy bullshit, and it's about, like, peacekeeping and not, like, interfering and all this stuff. And then, like, the Sith code is like, peace is a lie, there's only pain, and it's like it's like unleashing your freedom and all this other stuff, and it's very self-centric, but it's also at the same time like empowering. Also, Sith powers are way more based than Red Pill. True. In fact, lightning is way cooler than everything else. That being said, Mandalorian by far, they're just so fucking cool. It's a warrior tribe, class. Like, their whole culture is based upon warmongering in a sense, but then it's also like, it's a warrior armor culture, and they have like their own like infighting, but then also like, I don't know, it's just so badass. It's just so fucking badass, and you get a lot of Mandalorian culture season 3.
It's like the third underdog that you don't really get to see in the original like mainstream Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, you had your Boba Fett, and you're like that. Well, like, Boba Fett was always like, wow, that guy's cool.
But now it's like, wait a second, there's a whole explanation for
there's a whole species of these guys who all look like this guy, and it's like,
wait, diving down the Rebel. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then you get stories of it back in the Clone Wars, and you're like, oh wow, you explore this.
Defend yourself. Why does Mandalorian not have a Baby Yoda problem?
Or rather, Star Wars does not have a Baby Yoda problem because
Star
of
Mandalorian.
Wars. Here's the deal. If you think about the fact that there is a story told 35 years later about the Skywalker saga, and that the new, the First Order has taken over another empire, essentially, and you understand the implications that this story is 5 to 10 years after the fall of the Empire, and there's a character introduced in episode 7 of season 3 of The Mandalorian with the last name Hux, and Hux is the father of the other Hux that is in the other trilogy that's part of the New Order, a high commanding officer, the big ginger dude who's a big dickhead. You get the idea. The bad guys win, dude. At some point, the bad guys win, and the things switch over again, and like the shift of power. So my point is, if Grogu was around, he's in hiding maybe in the next 35 years or whatever it is, that's one argument you could make. But where the fuck is Grogu? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Where is he out in this big galaxy in this trilogy of an epic we just told? He's not like there's no way. I'm sorry. They have to end the story somewhere, and they're not going to be able to continue it forever. Right?
True, because they're going to run into stuff that's already been talked about. Because
they're already setting things up.
Yeah.
They're wise about how they're planning it. And they've been talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn in little like passings. Thrawn was a character from Star Wars Rebels. I believe, and he's apparently been cast as someone who's supposed to be in Ahsoka. So you have set up one setup. They're smart about how they plan their shit. That's the thing. I think people who don't observe it with the fullness of the breadth of everything, though, are going to be able to poke these kind of holes and be like, well, why is this? Why is the Kessel Run 12 parsecs? And that's a unit of distance. Shut up, Han Solo.
Are we gonna see the rise of Star Wars overtaking the Marvel Cinematic Universe now that ants and worms are being the main focus? Do you think that it's now Star Wars?
I'm sorry, did you say ants and worms? What are you implying? Like Ant-Man?
Yeah, isn't Ant-Man and isn't there like another bug person that was like the worm something?
The Wasp?
I don't follow the. I don't know. Maybe the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the movie.
Yeah, isn't that the most recent Marvel films that supposedly did well, but I didn't give a fuck about?
It didn't do well at all. It actually did very poor in box office comparatively, and I bought it on YouTube today.
assume the continuation of the Marvel universe into the future, given the lessons that they've learned with Ant-Man. Do you think that Star Wars is going to overtake the spotlight? That's what I was asking.
No, because historically Star Wars has never been like a major top grossing box office movie for very long. And the MCU holds a couple spots now. So I just don't see it.
Okay.
Especially, quite frankly,
to do.
With James Cameron films, the Avatar movies continuing on.
Which I can't fucking believe. I still haven't seen the second one, but didn't that one like quietly just break the record for highest grossing box office again? And like, didn't he do that twice? Wasn't Avatar 1 the biggest, and then Avatar 2 was like second? And was it also like as good?
I haven't seen Avatar 2, so I don't know.
Well, we have some homework to do this week, buddy boy.
Fuck you! I ain't watching Blue Pocahontas.
But it's water this time.
Eat my balls, Earth, dude.
They're swimming.
Hell no! I'm gonna hard pass on that.
They're breaking the anti-black trope that colored people can't swim. Don't you see? They're attacking racism from all fronts.
Don't you say colored people like that. That's offensive, sir. How dare you?
I didn't just want to say like blacks because they're blues. So
okay. Eski, we gotta talk after the pod. I can't.
Bro, I'm just right now. Okay. Listen. I'm playing light and fast and loose with terms that can be used hatefully. I'm trying to play light on them. Yeah, in my mouth right now.
All right. So two other TV related things before we move on much further into the back half of the episode. Season 4 of The Boys stopped filming. They wrapped. They did that thing. Hooray!
Nice.
Yes.
Dunzo.
Yes.
Very Dunzo.
Good. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's supposed to be in that season, from what I can see.
Wait, I see. This sucks. It sucks that I don't have the media engagement that you do, because I thought The Boys was done after season 3.
Incorrect.
They like wrapped. Okay.
No, wait, what? There's no way.
I know nothing.
Did you watch it?
Zero. I haven't seen any of it.
Oh no, there's no way they could have done that with the cliffhanger they left. No, major cliffhanger at the end. Okay. Incredibly huge cliffhanger. Like something they've been kind of teasing at, but like never really built to directly.
Speaking from ignorance, I also watched a YouTube video talking about why The Boys was different than the graphic novel.
Oh, because the graphic novel is insanely more violent.
Yeah, and like a lot more nihilistic and depressing. Yeah, and anyway.
Yeah. Like Huey
look forward to that.
Does not get the girl in the end and stuff, and it's all bad. Yeah.
And like stuff that happens that like was given a purpose in the show was like just for nothing in the series.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What's the last one?
Well, most importantly, day of release, the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always was released on Netflix. It's a 56-minute special, and it is all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
Instantaneous. So you recall when we watched the trailer, they had the scene with the Blue Ranger on the cliffside with like, all those putties?
Yeah.
That is the start.
She's dead.
That is the intro. That is like the beginning scene. And yes,
it's not a build up to that.
Quick. The death is very fast. Okay. It is a crazy run. It has a lot of little Easter eggs. And what I was actually watching before we started recording, where you did not have my attention because I was being distracted by a video, was me watching a Watch Mojo video of the top 10 things you missed in the special. I was just like, all right, let's see what Watch Mojo's got on me this time. Let's see what they can do. They had me on one singular thing.
Okay.
One. It was a
One.
It was a tombstone they showed in a scene very early in. That like most of the names didn't get lingered on, but this one randomly did. It was like a character who was a talk show host in a one episode that was played by an actor, but the guy also did voice acting for the show and did some other characters that were like quite famous. So I was like,
That's
oh,
cute.
that's cool. I didn't catch that one. You guys got me.
They
But the
gotcha.
best one they did catch and that I also caught was having Rocky, who was the second Red Ranger, playing the Red Ranger in this special as well. He did a rotation kick, and
Which
it was, if you don't know, Rocky was sidelined as a ranger in the Power Rangers Turbo movie because they were at a martial arts competition, and he says to like his teams, like, you guys think we're doing too much? And then he goes, nah, never. And then he does like a rotation kick, and he falls out of the ring and like hurts his back. So he can no longer, So him landing the rotation kick and defeating someone in a fight with it,
it closes the loop.
and then
Yes.
Billy being like, "Hey, nice rotation kick," and he's just like, "He still got it." He's like, "Always had it," and I was like, let's fucking go. Put that one
That's
to
goofy.
bed. That was so
Goofy.
good. There was a few other
Amazing.
really good moments. One of the best things that I can just put to bed, and I'll put this on there because homage to the shirt. So the Green Ranger was a big point of controversy of like who's going to be playing the Green Ranger in this special because JDF did not film with them. So like how this is going to work. And basically what they did was they used sound clips to portray the character in suit as Tommy. And it was very obviously him, and it was like a very respectful way to do it. And everything they did was super well done. Like it was just
Awesome, man.
it was tasteful. It was well done. It was really enjoyable. Anyone who enjoyed the series growing up, go watch it. Give it the hour of your time. It's really, really fun, and it's a good trip. And it's not cheesy. Oh, it's cheesy in the right ways. It's not cheesy like bad looking.
Sure. Yeah. It was good. The fear was that they were just tapping into the nostalgia market too much.
No, honestly, it's
like
more.
doing a quick
It's
cash grab.
more actually
They did,
about
like, a really
honoring the
honorable-
memory of the Yellow Ranger, who they not only kill in show, but then who she passed away in 2001. So like, it was more actually
awesome,
about
man.
like remembering her and like all that stuff, and it's actually like really nice.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad.
Everybody
Check it
go
out,
watch.
people.
Everybody watch.
And
Power
if you
Rangers.
haven't seen it, before you go check it out, make sure that you like this video and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be
Ding,
notified
ding, ding.
every time we go live.
That's the
which
noise it makes
happens
when they do that graphic
Friday.
on thing.
Yeah. It actually
We
makes
don't
that
do that.
noise. Try it out for yourself.
Yeah, see, it did it. That's crazy. You just did it.
I want to
and it
talk
did
about
that for
holes
you.
in the ground.
The
I'll talk
movie
about
Holes
holes
with
in the
Shia
ground.
LaBeouf.
No. If you will direct your attention to a TikTok.
Oh, I saw
that
it.
sent
I already
you.
am
You
aware.
don't
I
have
was
to
waiting
watch
for
it.
us. No, I was waiting for it. This was the cheese caves.
And in case you didn't
Jeez.
know, ladies and gentlemen, there was a cheese shortage in the 70s. And so the government, in order to not have a major market force in the United States economy go under, they decided to subsidize the production of cheese. And the
Cheese.
cheese industry decided to overproduce because they knew it was going to get bought anyway. And it seems like it might have been a mistake on the government's end, but there was starting to become a surplus of cheese in the 70s into the 80s. So Ronald Reagan decided to start providing cheese in a government food program, federal TEAF or something like that.
Yeah.
That is where the term government cheese comes from.
Yes, sir.
And
not
then,
from the tips of their governmental penis.
true, not from the teat of the government, but it is actual cheese that they were giving out in the 80s.
Cheese.
It turns out that cheese has declined, cheese eating, and production has increased about 30% since the installation of that program. And so we now have a whopping total of 1.3 billion tons of excess cheese.
Cheese.
Is it billion tons or billion pounds? 1.3 billion cheese.
And Eski, where are these caves
Pounced.
at? Where might these?
They
caves
are
just
in
be?
the good old state of Missouri.
They are in
They are
Springfield.
locked down facilities. You cannot enter
Jeez.
because there are many companies that are actually aging cheese in these caves alongside the storage of 1.3 billion pounds of government-owned subsidized cheese that who knows what the fuck
Now,
they're doing
as
with it. It's
my
aging.
goofy soundbite / voice suggests, why have we not just hired Wallace from Wallace and Gromit to make an invention to
This
deal with
is
all
your
this?
time to shine.
Jeez.
Wallace's. I need you to go to Springfield, Missouri,
Where all my
and
Wallaces
sniff
at?
out the cheese. Where the Wallace is at.
I think the reality of the situation is that he can't get a working visa long enough to deal with that much cheese.
True. There's too much. 1.3 billion pounds is quite a large amount for. I'm so
This is
sorry.
why. Oh, you're fine, dude. You gotta do what you gotta do. I think it's a large amount for any British man to consume, even how boring their diet is and how terrible
True.
it is.
How fucking awful.
And this is where we become
Okay,
reverse
it is.
trash taste, where we just become 1 to 10, and we talk poorly of the British instead of America.
True, because fuck the Brits.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here,
Fuck
Brit
beans and
bongers.
toast. Am I right?
Mhm.
Gumps.
Disgusting breakfasts.
My fucking
Absolutely
Yanks
horrid.
out here absolutely hating on them Brits. You know what I'm saying? Them bread coats better. Get out of here.
So that was your fun fact, your fun cheese hole for the day.
Jeez.
I have a couple more things, but what do you got, buddy boy?
Kai Cenat got banned.
Kai Cenat. And does anyone know why?
I still didn't check to see if anyone knows why now.
Nobody knew why at the time.
I can say that. The article's from fucking BBC.
You know what I think?
The BBC
I'm gonna-
knows.
I'm gonna
Kai
start getting-
Cenat banned for streaming on the platform.
Munches
Which is largest
beans and
streamer.
toast while talking.
Jeez.
Kai Cenat, cheese. I'm gonna put my conspiracy hat on. I'm gonna have a conspiracy
Tuesday,
hat
ain't
next
it?
time. I think that this is for conduct during his subathon, and they made an
Probably.
internal decision
Let
to
him continue
withhold
on.
the ban
Yeah.
so that they could rake in all the cash that they got
Oh, yeah.
and then
for sure. They got to
fuck
get their
them
split.
afterwards.
Yeah. End of the
Because
month's got to
as
come
of right
first.
now, there's no real information as to why, and I don't think he's communicated with anyone either. Why was Kai Cenat banned?
Is this the next Dr. Disrespect?
I know why he was banned. Let me tell you, I can't say anything, but he's not coming back, and not just on Twitch.
All right.
I
Well,
just know
and
of,
all
like,
of
3 quotes together.
I don't
Go ahead.
even want to give Kai any more of a platform than that right now because that dude's got a big enough one. But yeah, I don't know why he got banned. No one does. It's weird. It's fucking oddly
Well,
bizarre that he got.
Updated April 18th. Repeated explicit simulated sexual activity in GTA. It is a temporary ban, but it's not made how long the Twitch star will remain suspended. This just in. This was updated like 2 hours ago. Jeez. Jesus.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Let's put it this
Okay.
way: Kai will come back and he'll be bigger than ever. No, that's not true statistically. He's subathon big.
True.
Yeah, no,
It's
he'll
going to be hard to beat that.
he'll come back and be big though. Still, he'll be huge.
Mhm.
He'll be a
Yeah.
huge return stream. He'll have a great first couple of 2 weeks. It'll be great for him.
Yeah.
Let's move right along though into a couple video game territory. Got a couple
Sure.
things real quick here. Okay, number one, a Counter-Strike skin has sold for $400,000. It's probably the most expensive gun in video game history.
That's until everything is uploaded to the blockchain, and then you can trade every weapon skin. ever
And
for
CS:GO
anything.
2 comes out, where everyone's
True.
skins are going to
True.
skyrocket. I actually think that's going to be the most interesting thing about the game, beyond just like reactive smokes. I think that the other thing that is going to happen is there's going to be an amazing boost of skin price when that game launches, and skins are going to inflate.
Are you
So-
sitting on some crates right now, or
No.
do you have a bunch of skins?
Nope,
now?
I
Time to
offloaded all my
stock up.
stuff actually 6 months ago.
You turned a profit on them?
I turned a profit on 3 skins.
Nice, dude.
I had like 10. I sold them like a little bit at value and like nothing really lost. I had 3 that were a little pricier. That one was stat track, and then 2 were
Based.
just decent skins that were had
Who's
fine
got
rarity.
$400,000 for a skin though? Like, and is there legal trading in Counter-Strike? I actually have no idea how that works.
That has to be
like-
like a third party thing, probably how you'd sell for that much.
Well, how do you give someone a skin? Is it like an item
Oh
that
no,
can
no,
be
you
sent
can
to your Steam
you
wallet?
go you just go to like the inventory and you can sell it on the community market. You post it as a listing.
Oh,
And then you set a
And then
value
there-
that you want to make, and then it says the value of what the person has to pay.
wait, this is
and
built
then
into Counter-Strike? I
it's
didn't
built
realize
into
that they were
Steam. Yeah, it's a Valve
into
game.
Steam.
Yeah. You can just write. You literally go to if you're in Counter Strike, you can go to your skin, in your inventory. You right click it, and then it says sell on community market, and then you can do that. And then usually you have to use your authenticator and have a 2-day window before it gets posted. But like I had a skin that I bought for like I think $10 once, and I sold it for like 18 the other day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Who's got $400,000 for a skin? That's what I want to know. Do we know who bought it?
Crypto Bored Ape selling hose.
Yeah,
Well, Eamon
that's
on the
it. That's
fucking
it.
the yard bought a butterfly knife for $40,000 and he sold his fucking Jetta for it or whatever it was. Or it wasn't a Jetta, it was his other card. Lemon drives a
I
Jetta.
just.
Either way.
But the thing is, like, when you've made so much that like it's a drop in the bucket from your profit,
Oh yeah.
like that is where those things happen. That's where people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on a football card or like yeah. So that's how. It's just someone who won big somewhere and had the money to blow.
True. Let's see. A couple other things real quick. Got two of them. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions playtest has been announced. So if you keep up with the news, other than around the transphobia of playing the last Harry Potter game that was around, this time people are also talking about how there was zero Quidditch or zero real broomstick like sport riding at all involved in that Hogwarts Legacy game, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of weird to go to Hogwarts and I have Quidditch mentioned when it's a 100-year-old game and it does take place in the time where it should exist. So they announced Quidditch Champions, which is essentially, I would say, a spiritual successor to Quidditch World Cup, which
Quidditch World Cup was a PlayStation 2 and Xbox
and GameCube game.
and GameCube.
Yes.
And that was a base game, if I remember
correctly. That
correctly.
game is fucking sick as fuck. And when I signed up for the playtest, or the alpha or whatever you want to call it, they asked like what games you play, how many hundreds of hours you put into certain games, and then they had a section specifically for Harry Potter games or they mentioned Quidditch World Cup, and I was like, yes sir, hundreds of hours as a kid, let's fucking go. On top of that, about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 5 to 7 years ago, I had a roommate who I lived with, and I bought a copy of it for GameCube, and we played it on his Wii because we lived together. So we popped that in, we played it for like 4 or 5 days straight. And we would just play, and I was like, we have to unlock Bulgaria. We have to get Victor Krum. So I'm hyped.
Awesome,
I hope I get into it. And then the last thing is Diablo 4 has gone gold. Going gold in the gaming industry means that the game is finished and it's ready for printing.
Beautiful.
So we are, 6 weeks out roughly from the release date, expected for 6/6, and it should ship just fine and not be a problem for that product to be here, which is really hyped to hear. I'm glad to hear it. I'm happy that with what I experienced during the beta, just a few lackluster things of like, how much damage are we going to do with certain classes or visual lag. As long as they clean up their act, I think we'll be fine.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's my gaming roundup, my dog.
Okay. Exciting news for this weekend in the not gaming world.
Yes, sir.
It is WGI finals for the marching percussion, and I am going to be there. I'm flying out tomorrow evening. For those of you that don't know,
for the layman, what is that?
So you have a marching band that exists in usually a high school setting. And sometimes they are just for show to like play music at the football games and stuff. But sometimes there are competitive marching bands where they go to competitions and the bands put on a performance, and then that is compared to all the other performances. And then you're given a score based on things that have been decided from an organization from a while ago. And there is a way to band correctly and band incorrectly is a good way of putting it. Winter drumline or winter percussion is just the marching band minus the horns. So you have the percussion instruments that walk around and the percussion instruments that stand still. And you put on a much cooler, much more dynamic performance because you have much less people involved. And usually there's a lot more electronics, and it's done inside. So you can play with lights and sounds, and it's a really, really cool experience. There's an organization called WGI, which is Winter Guard International. They host national competitions. Usually states have like statewide competitions for percussion and Winter Guard, which is like the color guard and your marching bands, and a new section called Winds, which is actually just the horns. So you have all three parts of a marching band doing segmented competitions at different times throughout the winter season. So they don't put them all on a field inside. They separate them out.
Wild.
Yeah. And so the thing is, there's also people that are out of high school that want to get really good at drumming or color guarding or horning, I guess is the way to say it. And so there's independent organizations that are usually considered to be like a step above the scholastic class. And so when you go to these national competitions as a high schooler, you do your performance and you get your scores or whatever, but then you want to go see these independent groups because it's kind of like watching if you're a little league team, it's like watching the NFL do their thing. These are people who dedicate their weekends from November until April specifically to this activity, and they usually spend a couple $1,000s throughout that period to participate, and they put on a wild performance. So such notable things as a group called Music City Mystique, who 4 years ago, everyone in the group, men and women, shaved their heads and they dyed their forearms to their hands black, and they put on a performance where they were zombies fighting over the last seed of a tree as the world was dying, and they won with that performance. And Rhythm X, which has a Missouri native, Tommy Rome, they won.
Shout out T-Rome.
Yeah, shout out T-Rome, where they
Also
did a
shout out
performance.
T-Ravs. I'm really
Yeah.
hungry.
They did a thing based on a speech from Teddy Roosevelt. It's not the critic who counts, but it's the man in the arena. And they just did a bunch of cool stuff and banded really hard. And I'm going to be there, and I'm really excited. It's like a big family reunion, getting to watch all the top percussionists do their thing because the activity seems to get better every year.
Well, that's
And
good.
yeah, I'll be sure to talk about some highlights. Maybe we can watch some clips or something next week.
That could be poggers if people in the drumming community would watch and they want to watch
And
the buggies.
that leads me into one thing that I wanted to talk about,
Yes, sir.
which is money in extracurricular activities. So when you imagine participation in marching band or winds or winter guard, there are pockets of the United States that are a step above the rest. So, for example, in the scholastic world, which is the highest that you can go, the highest tier of like performance evaluation that you can get, the stuff that they play is crazy, the moves that they do are really crazy. There is a school called Dartmouth High School, which is in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. They are in first place this year and they win pretty consistently. I want to pull up a photo here in a second, but hang on, I'm sorry. But they are in a very rich town. And then the rest of the drumlines in Massachusetts kind of suck. They're not usually going to WJ finals. And then if you zoom all the way to the other side of the country in California and you look at like all of the other scholastic world groups, it's like the top 10 are from California.
Wow.
Because it seems like money breeds quality in this particular activity. It's expensive to have all the instruments. It's expensive to put on big performances and stuff.
Travel.
Our little old school did not do very well. I think we medaled in nationals one time in our class, and then we like never made it past the first round ever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on how much of a thought you had about money deciding like how good somebody can be in a competitive scenes, whether it's football or banding or
Let me give
the chess.
my particular best experience from a point of a high school level activity. So in theater, as you would know, the way you met me, the year after I graduated, the theater was repaired and given better lights and sound and sufficient equipment to the department, like to actually do the department that I was in charge of for certain points in time. So when my senior year came around and one Leprechaun Tandler wanted me to go to do like this competition day on the last day or part of like the second to last day of thespian conference, which was like technical like tasks and how quickly you could do them and like do them to completion of a certain standard or whatever, versus like other people from other schools who were competing as well. And I did not finish last, but I did not finish second. I did finish like second or third to last, I think, out of all the people who were competing. Yeah, like I did not have this light. I did not have this light. I did not have like the equipment that I was working with. I was not familiar with it. I was just working with what I had had for so long, and I was like, oh, this is not the standard of what I'm used to, and like I'm not as efficient as I thought I was because I don't have the adequate like way to practice with this thing. And I was like, yeah, if only we got more money. And then I found out they were doing stuff in the theater, and I was like, this fucking sucks.
Jesus.
This is like why do all these other departments get so much more money, particularly sports that we lose in a lot?
Yeah, we suck as a team anyway.
Like, yeah, let's just get a
we still
massive
have-
football
yeah.
field, but our football team is like the worst in the entire district of like play amongst other local teams. It's horrible. It's not even competitive, and it's like I don't think
That could be used elsewhere.
I don't think that like private school football is that much more competitive compared to public in St. Louis.
I mean, I don't follow the leagues anymore. I just know
No,
that our
neither.
school sucked, and
We were
state was
really
always
fucking
like,
bad.
this
Well,
school
it just
had a
also was
lot of
weird because
money.
Central was just like right down this like road, and they were so much better than us.
True. Yeah.
And I don't even know
Fuck
how
'em.
good they really were. You know,
Yeah. True.
it's like you live a few streets over, you're just on a significantly better team. I think it's because they had them go country boys down in Howell and Summit Central. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking their sisters. What can you do?
Whoa, man!
Gives you that extra oomph. You know what you're coming home to if you win. If you win, how? I'm gonna give you.
All right, you're done. That's gross.
I've
Incest
crossed
joke.
like 3 lines today. I'm
Dude,
just I'm
Yeah,
tapping them all
you know
out
that's
again.
that's enough out of you, Eski. You're done. The rest of the episode, you gotta be quiet, you little stinker. You little bad boy. You're naughty. All right, and that's another episode of the 110 Podcast. See you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment,
Hey,
subscribe, ring the notification bell. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding,
Bye,
ding, ding, ding.
guys. See you
Bye.
later.